Drilly popped off in 2021 and became one of the hottest new rappers in the Bronx, but it didn't take long for everything to fall apart. Him and his crew allegedly terrorized the streets of the Bronx, and now he could be facing life in prison. From writing poetry in school to sliding on ops and getting booked, this is the shocking story of Lee Drilly's rise and fall. Lee Drilly came up in the Bronx and spent his whole life around the streets. Not much is known about his early life, but Lee has said in interviews that he was a badass kid who was always getting into trouble.
Cause even when I was younger, like everybody, I'm a badass kid. School was a badass kid. Home, badass kid. I was just a badass kid.
Acting wild all the time, earning the name Demon Child, and he stuck with it ever since. What's surprising about Lee's situation is that he actually finished high school and also went to college for a minute. A lot of street rappers drop out of
Boy, he put a call rich. That boy put a call rich.
school early, but Lee has always talks about moving smarter than everyone else. Lee's known for writing crazy lines about his ops and dissing their dead homies. A lot of people think he's one of the most disrespectful rappers in the Bronx, and fans would never guess how he originally got into writing. Back when he was in school, Lee was actually a really good poet who always had the best poems in class.
Nah, they wasn't really serious, but you know in school you always gotta write a poem.
Yeah.
And I always had the best poem.
Most wouldn't expect a drill rapper who drops bars about killing people to come from a poetry background. But while Lee was writing poems, he allegedly had both feet in the trenches at the same time. In his interview with On the Radar, Lee said coming up in the Bronx is crazy and anything can happen there.
Growing up in the Bronx, like it was hard at sometimes, but sometimes it was I don't know,
Sometimes you like it.
crazy life.
Writing poems and getting active in the streets definitely sounds like a good way to get started as a rapper. But back in the day, Lee wasn't even thinking about hopping in the booth. His homie Spaz and brother Skino DG was already writing tracks, but Lee was just rocking with their music and wasn't trying to make his own. But all that changed after Spaz got booked on a murder charge. Spaz came up in the Bronx repping the Bloodhound Brims, a blood set under the New York Blood Brim Army. Bloodhound Brims was known as one of the wildest crews in the city and always recruited the most brutal and violent dudes to rep the set. They were ran by a dude named LeBrim who started the set while he was in prison. And not before long, BHB was putting pressure on everyone and had civilians terrified too. Spaz was making his way up the ranks of the Bloodhound Brims, but then he suffered a devastating loss that made him switch it up and start his own set, the Drillies. Lee has always been tight with Spaz, and both of them was real close to a dude named Dumbout, aka Dummy. Dummy and Spaz came up together in the streets repping BHB.
Hey, shout out to Dummy or Dumbout. RP to him, man. RP to him. Even though they all that beef and all that, RP to him.
And back in the day, they allegedly robbed Lil TJay before any of them was making music. Lee says that Dumbout was a real demon in the streets and nobody wanted to smoke with him.
The type of person he was a demon.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, after that happened, I feel like anyone could go.
But in 2018, he got into a fight at a barbecue and tragically didn't make it out alive. There was a cookout going on in the courtyard of a building, and reports say that Dumbout got into it with a Crip who was there. He allegedly roughed him up and the dude left, but then he came back clutching the knife under his jacket and got the drop on Dumbout. Dumbout was stabbed several times before anyone even had the chance to jump in and help, and by the time the paramedics got there, it was too late to save him, and Dumbout ended up dying from the wounds. Apparently, Dumbout was a real problem for the ops, and none of them ever mentioned his name while he was alive. But after he died, Dumbout became one of the most disrespected names in Bronx drill, even though most of them never even knew him in person, according to Lee Drilly.
With Dummy's name, do you feel like they do that, and do you feel like they would be that bold to do that had he been alive?
No, because when he was alive, he never got mentioned.
Dummy gets dissed by the ops all the time, and his name usually gets mentioned with a woman named Delilah Vasquez. Delilah wasn't affiliated with his set, but she was cool with a lot of drillies and was close with K-Flock's cousin dthang too. In May 2021, she was allegedly hanging out with a bunch of YGs in an abandoned apartment, and someone ended up shooting her in the head. After she got shot, someone called her mom Duffy and told her that Delilah was downstairs in the building. Duffy looked everywhere for her daughter for over an hour, and finally she got another call from the same number, and they told her which apartment Delilah was actually in. When Duffy and the police found her, Delilah was still alive. If they had reached her right after the shooting, she probably would have survived, but unfortunately by the time they got to her, it was too late and she died later that night. It's still not clear exactly what went down, but the police say that the Drillies are responsible for her death. After Delilah died, her and Dumbout was getting dissed all over the Bronx drill scene. Shy K dissed them both on the track D&D when he dropped the bars, "It's a whole lot of ops I could smoke, but I'd rather just smoke on Delilah," and "Smoking Dummy got me feeling different." Then on Right Now Part 2, he said, Dummy and Lottie, that's block work. Delilah got shot, now the ops hurt. And right now, bitch, I smoke on Delilah. I'ma just pass you the blunt. Lil TJay is one of the hottest new rappers in the game and has mainstream hits with hundreds of millions of streams. But even he jumped in and started dissing Dumb Out. For a long time, it was just a rumor that Dumb Out robbed him back in the day. But TJay dropped the track Dumb Out after he died and rapped, RIP Dumb Out, man, I think I'm about to cry. Nah, I lied. Ha ha, nigga in the sky. And fuck that.
That's so disrespectful, bro. That is so disrespectful, but that's the life they live in, man. Cause they diss his homie too, so.
Nigga, I'ma say it proud. I'm a real nigga. I done lost some niggas in the field, nigga. I'm innocent, but I'm happy you got killed, nigga. Dumb Out's death was a huge blow to Spaz and Lee. And on the track, many men.
I think a lot of clips of Lil TJ be dissing him, bro. RIP to Dumb Out, man.
Lee raps, RIP Dummy, still sliding for you. Oh, they spoke on your name? I'm on timing for you. Said you living through me, so I'm dying for you. Dummy's death caused a lot of drama in the neighborhood. But instead of picking a side, Spaz decided to just split off and start the Drillies. Spaz was already rapping for a few years, but after Dummy died, he started going even harder in the booth and scored his first hit in 2020 when he dropped the track Bunny Hop. It's one of the first Bronx drill tracks to run up serious numbers, and it opened the doors for a lot of artists like K-Flock, B-Love, and Shy E.K. to hop on the drill wave a couple months later. The Drillies beef with the OGs, OYs, DOA, and more, and Spaz started sending disses on tracks like Op Spotter where he raps, shoot at an O, O&B, or an OY. J-Sap dissing us, we don't know why. Crips linking up with Bloods, they can both die. Drilly Gang, EBK on the north side. Tell them niggas from the court slide. K-Flock and B-Love clapped back with a remix of the song and went after Spaz and the rest of the Drillies rapping, shooting off of eyesight, the way I bend blocks like, niggas got me on highs like, don't bunny hop, you get shot in the spot. And KK be with me, that boy make it active. If we catch an op, we put him in the casket. Going 50 for 50, niggas ass hit the pavement like mattress. Make him bunny hop into a backflip. Spaz was putting pressure on everyone with his music. He always claimed that the Drillies was a rap collective and not a gang. But in 2020, he allegedly chipped a DOA member, and that's when Lee Drilly had to step up and start putting on for him in the booth. In July 2020, a dude named James Rivera was arguing with 3 dudes on East Gun Hill Road when the situation escalated and someone started letting off shots. When the police rolled up on the scene later, they found Rivera unconscious on the ground with so many shell casings around him that they ran out of evidence markers. A witness said Rivera upped his strap and fired 3 shots. Then the other dude shot back and killed him.
They said that they ran out of evidence markers. That means so they meant it. They meant it in GTA. They meant it.
First, there was all kinds of rumors about who was behind the hit, but just a month later, Spaz and 3 other dudes were booked for Rivera's death. Spaz getting booked right when he was blowing up was a huge L for the Drillies, but luckily for them, Lee was ready to hop in the booth and put in work. He never wanted to be a rapper back in the day, but Spaz going down made him realize he had to put on for the crew. He dropped his first music video for the track Final Destination in February 2021, and Lee's music popped off from the jump. After the song ran up hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, he knew that he could make it in the rap game, and that's when Lee really got on the grind. The first video he dropped on his own page was for the track Free Spaz, where he shouted out his homie and sent shots at the ops with the bar, do a hit out the V, shoot the whip, like talk on the bros, so you know that it's lit. Free Spaz, still packing ops out the crib, trying to smoke a hot ones in this shit. Ops dead, how more up could it get? K-Flock was popping off around the same time, and Lee took shots at him and his homie Dougie B on the track Deadly when he raps, Flock Flocka, got that nigga's head. Teach me how to Dougie, cause I got a leg. I don't fuck with nobody, who you gonna get next to? I will never let them know my next move. A lot of drill rappers could take everything to the next level if they linked up with each other in the booth, but since they all come from the streets and have real life issues, that'll never happen. Lee and K-Flock could have gone super viral if they dropped tracks together, but Lee said he never worked with an op because it's all deeper than rap.
Lee Drilly and K-Flock got an unreleased track, by the way, y'all.
Hell no.
Y'all would go viral, though.
It would never happen.
Why wouldn't it happen, though?
Because I don't want to be like nothing associated. I don't want to go up like, that's not my friend.
Oh.
I want him to go up, just not with me. We go up from different tables. I want him to eat, just not at my table. Some of my sons done got locked up for this shit.
Drill rappers are getting locked up and killed all the time, and a lot of fans wish they would just leave the drama behind and focus on the music. But Lee says he's never gonna kill any beef either.
You can't, like, when friends are gone and all that type of stuff, then there's no stopping it, unfortunately. all this non-affiliate civilian stuff, it would stop, bro, and nobody passed away from it. But the fact that people passed away from it, it's never gonna end. Because there's people gonna be constantly be hurting and all that, it's never gonna end.
You believe that you would ever dead any beef with any of your ops? Nope. Ever in life, even when you're 45.
At 45, it's like, I see you.
So
I don't
if you
care no more. I don't want to be around y'all, but it's history behind us. It's real life history.
What's really weird about the whole Drilly situation is how much internal beef they have. Back in 2019, Lee and Say Drilly was going back and forth on social media, but now they crazy tight and show love to each other all the time. And Lee ain't the only Drilly that Say had issues with either. Last year, Say did spaz on IG and said, "I'm no Drilly because I'm the top Drilly. They know who putting on. It's a difference." And respectfully, Spaz is nobody to me. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. Free my Drillies, free Lee, free Nas, free True, free MB. I don't dick ride no man. I'm the top Drilly. Whoever feel away, niggas know my block. Spaz responded and said, "Say Drilly is not no fucking Drilly. He's smoking a little too much Lolo via SD." Say beefing with the dude who started the crew he reps is wild, but what makes the situation even more
I was gonna say that is wild. How do you do that, bro? That's just New York for you.
is that Lee is still tight with Say and Spaz too. Besides the drama between his homies, Lee had a lot of other beef to worry about too. He started going back and forth with K-Flock on social media, and one time he even slid through Flock's hood and clowned him for not coming downstairs and meeting him in the street. K-Flock is one of the wildest dudes in the drill scene and is locked up on murder and RICO charges right now. He went viral for spinning on the YG's block in broad daylight with nothing happening to him. And another time, he was on live when he spotted an op and tried to run him down while his fans were watching.
He right there. Where? He right there. Don't run, nigga! Yo, fuck it, Johnny, fuck him!
Lee obviously wasn't afraid of beefing with him though. In September 2021, one of K-Flock's homies was brutally killed in the middle of the day. He was walking down the street when two shooters hopped out of a gray Honda Accord and ran up on him. He took shots to the head and chest and died from the wounds. And later, Lee Drilly hopped on live to clown Flock over it. A lot of fans know how turned up K-Flock is, but Lee has been in a ton of wild situations too. One time, he caught an op on camera and tried to chase him down, and the dude was so afraid that he ran straight to the cops. Another video allegedly shows an op letting off a shot at Lee and almost catching him in the head, but he wasn't even pressed over it and actually sounded excited about getting shot at.
Who that? Yeah, you good? I know. Yo, where to? That was. I know exactly who that was. Where to? The gang is lit. Hey, y'all missed.
But while he was dealing with the ops and internal beef,
He said that's the only person to get popped in a GTA skin, and they be happy over it. they popped them and they missed it. He happy over it. I ain't never heard nothing like that before. It's a whole skit though.
at the same time, Lee was taking it further in the rap game every time he dropped. He was racking up millions of views on tracks like Fuck Everybody, Deadly, and his remix of 50 Cent's song Many Men. His videos was popping off like crazy, and it looked like Lee could take over the whole wave. But in July 2022, some news broke that shook up the entire scene. Lee Drilly always talks about being smart and knowing how to move in the streets. And in December 2021, he revealed that he had never been locked up before.
I haven't been locked up before. Most of my friends, most of the people my age, all been locked up.
But that all changed last year when Lee and 19 other Drilly affiliates got hit with an 82-count indictment that the cops called Operation Drilly. New York has been cracking down on gangs left and right lately, and apparently the Drilly's been under investigation for at least 3 years before the indictment came down. The Bronx DA said that they engaged in dozens of acts of violence, including murder and attempted murder, and terrorized residents of the Fordham Bedford Park neighborhoods who were forced to run for their lives as bullets flew. The indictment claims they're responsible for a bunch of shootings and other violent crimes, including one in January 2019 when 4 Drillys tried to rob a student after he left school and almost stabbed him to death. It also says they're responsible for the death of Delilah Vasquez. According to investigators, 4 of them went to the building and killed her. Spaz was already locked up for allegedly killing James Rivera, but now 5 other Drillys are wrapped up in the case too. The cops say that 4 of them shot him, then 1 of them stabbed him after he fell down on the pavement. The Drillys have been under investigation for years, but 2021 is when they really got active according to the indictment. They allegedly slid on some ops on June 28th and ended up hitting 3 innocent bystanders instead. A few months later, 2 of them spotted someone in the barbershop and rode up on them inside. One of them shot him in the stomach, then he handed the blower to the other Drilly and he popped the dude in the leg. Locking the Drillys up ain't stopped the violence either though. In April 2021, 3 of them was already on Rikers Island and they allegedly put hands on an op who was behind bars with them. After he went down with everybody else, Lee Drilly dropped his debut project called Free Drilly in August 2022. Getting booked like that and facing serious charges was a huge blow, but a few months ago, footage came out showing Lee having a good time in jail. Lee dropped a project and another couple of videos after he got booked, but since then, he's been completely quiet in the rap game. Right now, he's got way bigger things to worry about than keeping his momentum alive in the industry though. It'll probably be a while before anyone goes to trial, but there's no telling what's going on behind the scenes right now. 20 alleged Drillys got booked, and chances are that at least a few of them will flip. Usually the cops try to take down the biggest names possible, so Spaz and Lee are probably the last ones to offer a plea deal to. Lee thought he moved smarter than everyone else and would never slip up, but if he was really that active in the streets, then it was only a matter of time before the cops caught on to him. Plus, he made their jobs even easier by rapping about dead ops all the time.